Hey, fellow babies. Thank you for joining us on Pachter on SIFTD.net. Appreciate your support. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate your support there, but you have to follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter to justify the free content you're getting. First question this week from the SIFTD site from TMO. Do you think that there will be enough demo booths and things to do for paying fans at this year's E3? I got to tell you, there's plenty of demo booths at E3, period, for the non-paying people. So yes, I think in fact, the paying fans are probably going to be loving life, and I think the non-paying people are going to be pissed that the paying fans are getting in the way, because that just means lines will be longer. The things to do, they've got Jeff Keighley on the hook to kind of run a parallel program in one of the theaters around there. I think maybe the Microsoft or whatever that theater is called, right around the corner. And they're going to have talks. So I think you're going to have kind of a conference schedule for probably 2 days. I mean, all they need to get is about 16 people to talk for 30, 40 minutes every hour. And that's pretty easy to do. I think you're going to get access to big name guys. So I actually think this is going to be cool. And, you know, I think paying fans are going to have a great time. So you're going to be able to hear real video game people. You go through E3, you're going to actually bump into guys like me. I mean, that's a lifetime experience. So yeah, I think there's plenty to do. If you pay to go to E3, please stop by and say hi. But if you do, I'm going to check on Twitter. If you don't follow me, I'm spitting in your eye. So there you go. Our next question from Twitter, from @ZeroDark30. Look at that. ZeroDarkDirty. I read it wrong. I like that name, actually, ZeroDarkDirty. With console generations all but gone, what would Sony have to do to lose market dominance? You know, console software is going to move off console. So Sony's going to lose market dominance when you can play Call of Duty without a console. And I would say that's going to happen in 2019 or 2020. So in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to have an opportunity to download to your PC and play on your TV, and we will connect them. And in the next 10 years, you're going to download to your phone and play on your TV. And when that happens, and there's no reason to buy a console, then the only people who buy consoles are people who want to play Sony proprietary first-party content. I think what Sony's going to have to do is make the console do more. And they're headed that way. So PlayStation Now, PlayStation View, a free game if you're a PlayStation Network fan, maintaining, you know, lots of free games, maintaining a robust network, having indie games that are available only on PlayStation. That's what they have to do. But if the cost to get all that stuff is $400 plus $5 a month, and you can play without a console, so no $400, for $3 a month through Amazon, not as many people are going to do it. So my prediction is every console generation going forward will be about half as big as the one before it, because I think you're going to get more options to do something without a console, and only very lazy or very rich people are going to buy consoles, and people who are willing to figure out how to work the system will not. So I think Sony's going to lose market dominance to no console. I mean, just because you'll be able to do it. Our next question from SIFTD from ZN Trip. Do you think Take-Two Interactive's acquisition of Social Point is a step in the right direction toward making the company more competitive in the mobile game market? Well, the simple answer is yes. I mean, making mobile games is better than not making mobile games if they want to be more competitive. The truth, though, is Social Point's kind of a non-event. I mean, it's a nothing company. So they're fine. I mean, they do $91 million in revenue. They have a handful of games. I think there are 6 that I could find. 2 of them do probably 2/3 of that revenue. You know, 60, 70 million of the revenue is from 2 games. But honestly, a $30, $35 million game is not a big deal. I mean, I wish I had one. Obviously, I would be really happy. So props to them because they're profitable, and that's great. But, you know, Candy Crush does like 800 million. And crappy games like, you know, Zynga Poker do over 100 million. So honestly, EA has about 15 games that do more than 35 million. So Take-Two has 2 now. EA has 15. You know, Activision has multiples of 35 million from about a dozen games. So no, I don't think you can win in mobile 35 million at a time. I think in order to succeed in mobile, you need $100 million games or more. And to be really good at it, you need 5 of them or more. Social Point has 0, so Take-Two has 0. So when they come up with a $100 million game, and then they come up with a second one, and then they come up with a third one, they will have made it. But the Social Point games are just not that good yet, or not that profitable, or they don't generate that much revenue. So I don't think it makes them competitive at all. To answer your question specifically, it is a step in the right direction, yes. And it does make them more competitive, yes. But they're not very competitive. From @RetroDude14, what is your favorite console you've ever owned and why? And I have to say, I probably wouldn't answer it this way if I still had this console, because I'm sure if I actually played it now, I would think I was laughable what I'm about to say. The Sega Dreamcast. I just like the whole concept. The game I remember was NHL. So whatever year that was, 99, 98, I played the NHL game. It's the first sports game where, and I really like sports games, the first sports game where I actually felt like it was the game. Yeah. Hockey played like the game. It was like life-changing. So no, because every other time I ever played a game, it was like Mario. You know, it was like running around and doing stuff, and it would, you know, basically side scroll, running around and doing stuff. But my God, when I played hockey on the Dreamcast, I was like, wow, it just knocked my eyes out. And, you know, I actually bought whatever, they made NFL and they made NBA. I bought every sports game that Sega made. Games were great on the Dreamcast. They were so good. Yeah. And it just like, that was the first time I went, wow, these consoles really are something. Yeah. Where before they were just to play games. And so, you know, there's video games and then there's sports simulation games, and those are 2 different things. So the next wow factor I got was FIFA on the Xbox 360. It was the next time I was like, wow, what an amazing experience. So Dreamcast just made me really like sports games. And I'm not kidding. The only sports game I remember playing before Dreamcast, because I thought Madden on the PS1 was stupid. It was terrible. The only sports game I remember playing prior to Dreamcast was the LA Olympics on PC, the 1984 LA Olympics, highly pixelated, and we played it on a PC, so you played it on keyboard. And I totally remember like the pole vault running. You're doing like this, and then you had to hit the space bar to plant the pole. Yeah, and then you had to let go of the space bar to release. It was so fun. But that was the last sports game I really liked before the Dreamcast. So for me, Dreamcast. I have to say, truthfully, starting with PS2 and Xbox, I was indifferent. With PS3 and Xbox 360, indifferent. With PS4 and Xbox One, indifferent. They're both great experiences. The games look great. They all feel the same to me. And other than Fallout being incredibly buggy on the PS3, and I actually got so fed up with it, I had to go buy it on the Xbox 360 because it kept exploding on me. That's the only experience I ever had where I thought one console was better than the other. But otherwise, they look great, they play great, I like them all. But Dreamcast changed my life. Dreamcast made me like sports games. I still like hockey, and I'm one of like 500,000 people who do, but it's really great on all consoles, always has been. And soccer probably has surpassed hockey as a really great sports sim, so big fan of that. Well, fellow babies, I sucked up all the time in the universe. I appreciate you guys joining me on SIFTD.net. We appreciate your patronage. If you are not a patron, you're watching on YouTube, you owe me a follow on Twitter. If you're wasting your time watching what I have to say, you should be wasting your time checking in every day or two and seeing what I had to say that was interesting. @Michael Pachter, would appreciate a follow. Thanks for joining us. I will see you next week.